We also have in our mix Mrs. Maria Ife. She's brain behind this venue this evening. We really appreciate his support and his effort. Mrs. Maria Ife is the Vice President of NEO. So we really appreciate your presence here tonight. Mrs. Ife, so Igbo Community Chairman, I don't know this. Igbo Community Chairman. Okay, as soon as he comes in, we will recognize him. So thank you very much for your patience and thank you for being with us. So we know that it's time for us to take our country back from all those corrupt politicians. We know that nothing good comes easy and nothing tried, nothing gained. Nothing venture, nothing new. So if we don't start trying now, making efforts in taking the country back, it's very difficult for us to move the country forward. Since I was young, I always believed that the future of the country belongs to the youth. So this is what I used to hear. But until now, I have not seen any difference. I've said Nigeria, we still have the same type of leader that have been leading us since I was in primary school till now. So it is time for us to tell them that enough is enough. Okay, we've given them the benefits that they should have, used and do a legitimate and turn Nigeria the way it's supposed to be competitive with other countries in the world. Today, Nigeria is not moving forward. We are moving back. We have all the resources that most of the countries in the world do not have, but we are still the most poorest country in the world. I'm not a politician, but I like to reckon with people who really have plans, dreams, people who are willing to sacrifice for the country. I know some of you used to tell me that Nigeria are all cowards. We're not cowards, but just that when you stand up and you look back, there's no one behind you to support you, to face the struggle. You will look handicapped, then you have to go back. But this time around, we have someone that says, guys, enough is enough. I'm ready to sacrifice myself. I'm ready to stand in front of you. I'm ready to lead. You just stand behind me, give me the ovation, and I will deliver. Okay, and this person, he has been an activist right from when he was in high school. Okay, because a lot of people keep asking me, this guy is not a politician, he has never managed any position. How do you think this guy is going to deliver? How do you think he's going to perform? The answer is, we are all born equally, but we're not equally talented. This guy is born in a different way. He's talented right from childhood. He has been talented to be a leader. So he has been gifted. He has been leading. He has been a student union activist right from when he was in high school, when he was in university. So, and that DNA is still in him, and which made him to say, okay, today, with this generation, I'm going to lead Nigeria. And people were asking me, why don't you start from local level? You see, and the answer is very simple. When you have a big problem, you don't start solving a big problem from small problem. You start from the top so that you can be able to solve the problem. So this is why he's starting from the top. And today I'm pleading your support. Let us support him. Let us give him the mandate. I am very confident that he will not betray us. He's not this kind of politician that when he gets to Aso Rock, when we start calling his telephone number, it will go on voicemail. This is not the kind of person. Okay, this is a person that has been tested in so many branches, in so many ways. So this person has is a democracy activist. He is the owner of Sowore Reporters, and he has been using this platform in communicating to Nigerians, opening all the errors of all those corrupt politicians, making us to know some of hidden things that are being done by the executives. So today, I would appreciate you guys to give us the honor in welcoming the AAC chairperson, and he is the AAC president. Okay, the person of So with this, we'll go straight to the second agenda. What we have on our agenda, that's the introduction. The second one is the conservation, the master plan of what AAC have for Nigeria. They have a manifesto, and they have 10-point manifesto that says that if AAC becomes the leader of the country today, these 4 points, our future president is here today to give us in-depth focus on what he is going to do if he becomes the president. He contested, okay, we understand how the game goes in the country, but this time around, we are starting very early because our elders used to say when the young child falls down, he looks front. But when an adult falls, he looks back. Why is he looking back? Just to look the cause of his falling. So we identified the reason why we were unable to capture the power this time around. This is why we are starting very early to correct those mistakes so that we can take it back from those money back politicians.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Action.
Good. So the third point is the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of the meeting tonight is for us to recognize him and for him to recognize us. He has been hearing about Athens. So a lot of people have been telling that Athens we are like the village. But unfortunately, when he came in here today, he was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is our Greek is very poor. We're borrowing their money. Look at what they have. I said to him, good. Why we are taking you around Athens, Greece, is for you when you get there, you know what we decide. You know what Nigerians are yearning for. So that you don't tell us, oh, we don't have the resources, oh, we don't have the money. We don't want the same excuses. So we really appreciate that he is going to deliver. He's going to do what he has promised us that he's going to do. So the fourth point is he's going to give us the presentation. He's going to discuss with us on the manifestos of AAC, the plan, the agenda, how we are going to execute, then the next plan, the next action plan, and our next plan of action. So, with due respect, sir, we are welcoming you on stage.
Yes.
So you can present to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. This is very short notice. We're supposed to be here in January 2019, before the presidential or Nigerian election. But we were so swamped, we couldn't make it to Greece, Athens. But we saw the enthusiasm, and from what we're hearing from you today, it's obvious that you've been prepared for months. It just happened that we couldn't show up. But when I was invited to the editors forum in Athens, I decided to contact Vince to let him know that I've been told it's possible to have a gathering like this. So thank you for everything that you did, and also to present to you still that the country of Nigeria is in need of your support, help, and as you love to say, prayers. And I came into town, did my presentation yesterday, and I've been very fortunate to see this city and see Greece. When I heard about Greece the last time, I heard about an economic meltdown. So I was hoping that when I reach Greece this time around, I will find beggars, people queuing in front of ATMs, fuel scarcity, and those things that are associated with economic meltdown in Nigeria. I'm not seeing a single thing in that, right? I was told instead that here in Greece yes. I was told instead that here in Greece you have free medical care, free education, and there's a welfare program for the needy in Greece. And I was told that Greece has got no oil. Yes. Nothing. pretty much. So, honestly, I have been humbled since I arrived here. And in standing in front of you today, I don't want to sound religious, but remember that Paul came to a place called Corinth. And when he came, they asked him, what have you got to tell us that is new? Because you've been repeating the same thing all over all these years. Paul wasn't very happy because he had gone to Athens and they treated him bad. But when, at the point he decided that regardless of the threat, he would not leave Corinth. And I think one of the biggest churches that was built in his memory was built in Corinth. I say that because of the way Nigeria is. Anytime you meet Nigerians, as Vince told you, they will ask you, what is it that you have for us new? Do you have money? Do you have land? Do you have anything to promise us into the future? And even when you tell them that there's something bigger for the future, they will still want, in some cases, instantaneous gratification. And this is not only the youths that are doing it, older people are even doing it. So you get to a point where, just like Paul, you might want to get discouraged about Nigeria. This is the experience we had this last election. But because of the fact that this is a country of 200 million people, very important, not only to the future of Nigeria, but the African continent. We must not give up. So the story I'm bringing you here today is the story of hope. It's an encouragement that you should not give up, regardless of what you're hearing. Part of what you hear when people say to you, oh, go and start from local government, state government, or senate, it is the mental conditioning of oppression. It's just like in the days of slavery. Slaves were made to believe that the slaves that were in the garden were inferior to the ones inside the house. Until everybody became free, it was then that they knew that slavery was slavery, there was no category. It's the same thing with Nigeria today. The way our people have been battered over the years, they have been mentally conditioned to be questioning even their own humanity and competence to lead anything, because leaders always keep telling you are not good, you are not. Just like if you are a parent, and you keep telling your children they are not good, they might internalize that feeling that they are not good. So when you hear that from people, don't blame them. It's the best they can think of when there's so much confusion. And there's no country in the world that I've seen the kind of political, economic, social, and cultural confusion like Nigeria. And I've traveled pretty extensively, including coming here to Greece, where I thought I would meet a different condition, only to be surprised and be shamed. I told them to drop me in my hotel so that I can rest. It's my own way of just reconditioning myself to say, wow, I can't believe Greece of all places. It's great. And I called home and because I post some of my updates, and people say, are there Nigerians in Greece? Because they thought it's a poor place and at only places where people are doing well. And I said, the people here are even doing better than some of the European countries and American states that I know. Content with their condition and situation. Because Greece is like, for them, the secret that they discovered about humanity. But we can't keep talking about where things are good. We have to start talking about where things are in shambles. And that's Nigeria. So you guys knew that I ran the last election. Today, on my way here, the European Union released a report, if you guys have gotten any alert, that the Nigerian election was not transparent. I said, well, you guys are trying to decorate this with language. There's nothing like there was no election in 2019. What they did was they started a process where the elections did not hold in the polling units. It held in the collation centers. That's where they sat down, did all the divides and conquer. They beat people off on the street. They used soldiers. In my village, soldiers came and tried to attack me. This was videotaped. They had soldiers everywhere. There was intimidation, harassment. According to the EU, they killed 58 people in this last election. It wasn't an election, it was an act of aggression against Nigerian voters. So But you know, all these EU people, they are also part of the problem because they never tell the truth. Even when it's very clear. Instead of them to use the proper language, they say, this last election did not happen. Buhari merely allocated votes to himself and brought himself back into power without election. That would have been a honest way to deal with it. But that's diplomacy. We cannot afford that kind of diplomacy that is damaging to our humanity in Nigeria. And I've told them, everybody that cares to listen to me, that no election happened in 2019. Because when you want to ask me why I didn't win, you cannot win when there's no election. I contested for election. The other operators did not contest. So nobody won the election because there was no election. You cannot go to a football competition that's popular with the soccer games and claim that somebody won when there was no kickoff, there was no half time, there was no extra time. In fact, the referee joined the main team, and while the other team was not playing, the referee had already blown that the game was over and allocated when there was no game and there was no match. That is what happened in the Nigerian election. I'm glad that somehow the EU, tongue in cheek, came out and said that there's not saying anything new. But we, in this last election, showed to our people at home that something different could be done. It's the reason I didn't miss words when I got to Nigeria and started talking about what needs to happen in Nigeria. Forget about the agenda that we had. Everybody in Nigeria, after the election, said you guys had the best agenda you can imagine. You are very clear about how you want to address education, electricity, how you want to address corruption, how you want to address health, agriculture. In fact, after we left, after they handled their selection, not election, people are now reaching out to us and saying, we regret that we didn't vote for you. But there are some of our people that say, no, you didn't vote for us, sorry. Now the people you voted for, they have established a culture called next level. Enjoy it. You know, but I don't belong in that category because a lot of people could not even go out to vote because they were already intimidated. If you guys remember, President Buhari declared a shoot-aside order the day before the election. So a lot of people look at it and say it's not even worth it to go and die for an election when the president of the country had already ordered the army to shoot anybody aside. And that was exactly what the army did. They were all over the place, zombies, running Joro, as Fela would say. When I confronted them, they were ready to shoot. You guys saw it on the video. But I told them, I said, look, I am not going to be intimidated this man. Till today, they are in possession of my drone that I used in monitoring the election. The Nigerian Customs seized 4 of our drones that we brought into the country to monitor the election because they knew that we'll be able to capture electronically some of the rigging that happened. And a lot of people did have evidence of rigging that happened. But it doesn't matter anymore in Nigeria. So while we finish the election, we change our tone a little bit if you have heard about it. We say revolution now. The reason is that except there is some form of revolution in Nigeria, even an election can never happen again. If there is no upheaval, a shake-up of the system, you are not going to see these people relinquish power. Anybody in their right mind who is deceiving him or herself that people who are in power today will relinquish power, you are wasting your time. The nature of power is the only vehicle that's ever been designed without a reverse gear, except this is superior power. And the only superior power that Nigeria needs to exhibit is the people's power. And in coming to you today, I want you to understand that we can make it happen. There is no reason why anybody should give up hope on Nigeria. The reason is that the people that are in power are in a minority. In fact, the people that have been in power in Nigeria have always been in a minority. Nigeria, since 1960, has been managed by the same set of people. This Buhari you are saying, he was around in 1960. Obasanjo, they were around in 1960. Yes. They were the ones who caused Nigeria's civil war. Killed as many as 3 million people. Went and started bulldozing politically, left, right, and center. Every time Nigeria had a chance to move in the right direction, they will come out, jump out of the bush, and move it in the wrong direction. That is why in 2019, Obasanjo was recommending Atiku, who he had written about in his book, called the practically called Atiku a bastard, called him a thief, called him a saboteur and a traitor. And then he jumped out of the bush in 2019 and said Atiku is the only one who can save Nigeria. The reason is that these leaders are only about their own personal interests. They are not interested in you, they are not interested in me, they are not interested in the future of our children. Some of them are even so wicked, they are not interested in the future of their own children. You know, and it was part of the reason, and I apologize if I'm not speaking exactly how you express, you know, the order, because I'm really disappointed sometimes, and I speak out of, you know, my heart. It's part of the reason I refuse to visit any of the past leaders during the election. Even though people were encouraging me that you just go and play diplomacy. I said, how do I go in front of a person and be diplomatic? Do I see him and say, Baba, you are the best? And then I prostrate for him. It's not possible. You know, if I go in front of people, I'll be forced to speak my mind and say, you destroy this country, sir, and you don't deserve to be free. You know, and people will say to me, oh, don't say that you will jail them because they will gang up against you. No, they need to know what will happen exactly to them when the right people win election. If you go into meetings with them, you have nocturnal conversations with them, and you give them assurances that gives them the impression that the next generation of Nigeria or Nigerians to be ruled by them remotely, they will take that as an oath. I will not go into an oath with people who destroyed my past when I know that we need to guarantee a better future for our children. So, and that was what was the driving force behind our campaign. It was the reason why we were broadly accepted. Even though initially people didn't understand who we were. And people kept saying, we don't know you, we don't know you. But let me tell you, when they say they don't know you in Nigeria, it's a coded word for how we got money. Yes. Yes. It is. When you keep hearing from people, we don't know him now, we don't know him. It's a very coded word. Because we were actually well known because our campaign was the most prominent in Nigeria. We traveled everywhere. We traveled to 34 states and we went to so many states more than twice. So nobody didn't know us. In fact, after the election, when the same people said they didn't know me, they said, we wish you won. You know, the best president we never had, you know, things like that. I don't know whether they're making fun of me or themselves, but regardless, they now come out openly and said they know us. And some of them can even tell you everything you said because they kept watching all of these videos that you're seeing. And so many of them saved them. They shared it extensively with their families, their children. They know us. They know our ideas. But again, what I spoke about earlier about mental conditioning. People are conditioned to do that. You know, Nigeria can never be okay again. Let them just do whatever they can do. I get my own 5,000. You know. But 5,000 now is over. They finished spending it. Yeah. And next level has become the next level of fraud. It has become the next level of killings. It has become the next level of domination. It has become the next level of nepotism. It has become the next level of incompetence. And a general next level of wickedness. I said it before the election that the things that Buhari could not implement in the last 4 years because he was pretending, he will come out now without inhibition to do it. It depends on what you want to call it. I'm actually not after the labels, but there is a desire now to hold Nigeria by the jugular. And people better be prepared for it. I was interviewed on BBC Yoruba service, and I said to them that Yoruba constantly pass on. In English, it means cane or whip. I said everybody should lay out their backs because if you get to everybody, this Buhari's second term, we have not even started the second term yet. The country is reeling in pains. The country is reeling in insecurity, hunger, starvation. Name it. In the history of Nigeria, the level of migration outside of the country in the last 3 years that we are witnessing is unprecedented. Even people who won the election in this last election in Nigeria, they are writing migration exam to migrate to Canada. Yes. Senators, House of Rep members, they are secretly writing exam to get Canadian citizenship while they are in the National Assembly and the State Assembly. We are not making these things up. That's how bad things are. If people who are in government do not trust their country well enough, they don't trust the citizenship of the country well enough to stay in it for better, for worse, then what happens to the regular poor people? So what we are here to do is not the lamentation that we all know about. I'm actually here to greet you, thank you for what you do and the fact that you held on to the faith and belief in us, even though we couldn't make it to Greece last time. But also to get all prepared for the challenges ahead. I don't want to deceive you that it will not be challenging in the next 4 years. I don't want to deceive you that even me that I'm standing in front of you now, that they will tolerate me the way they tolerated me in the last election. Because one of the things why they tolerated us so much during that time was that they thought we would retire very quickly and we would crash out. Only to find out that we are very resilient and resistant. Now, they have gone back to their drawing boards. In fact, probably some of you would have heard that already they are trying to hijack the party from us. They raised some of the guys that we used to work with. They've been to court, to get all those court orders to get from the backyard. And before we knew it, all over the place it says we are no longer in charge of the party that we created ourselves. But the good news about it is that if the party is so attractive to them, that is the only party they're interested in out of 91 parties that contested the last election. I'm happy about it. That means we did something. We didn't take one before they came after the APC went after our party during the Rivers election. Without any invitation, they adopted our candidates. Got in bed with the guys there. We rejected it, they refused. After that, they went after the party, hijacked it, said that some new executives are now in charge of the party, went to court before we could say their property, they had obtained a court order saying that the leaders of the party should not represent the party anymore. This is a party we created ourselves, brand new from you now. This is the party that all of you contributed to. The reason was that we did some things that have never been done before. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, the presidential candidate accounted for how much money he raised and how it was spent. That's what we did. The big parties don't tell you how much they raised and how much they spent. There's no accountability, and they didn't like that because you present a new challenge of accountability and transparency to them. They are used to doing things in the quick way they do things. Secondly, they saw that even the ideas that were posed to our people, that were espoused during the election, lived even more potently after the election. You guys heard the ridiculous thing that Ondo State governor went to do in Thailand. We go and learn how to grow weeds in Thailand. They are already growing cannabis in Ondo State since I was not born. Why do you need to go to Thailand? But they are doing it because it was an idea we brought, but they didn't want to give us the credit for the idea. So they packed the little money left in the States, traveled to Thailand to go and learn how to smoke Igbo. They've been smoking Igbo since. In fact, there was something I read 3 days ago about, there was an excavation, archaeological excavation done somewhere. A pregnant woman that was dug from 3,000 years ago. They found traces of cannabis inside the baby. So they have been using cannabis for medicine for a long time. And that's what we said. But when we said it during the election, what did they say? They started making fun of us. These guys are weed exporters. They want to export weed. They have no idea that we're not talking about smoking weed, which is being done already in Nigeria. We're talking about how to monetize a lucrative business for medicinal reasons. Now, the government carried himself to go to Thailand just to waste the little money that we used to pay salaries. You heard about minimum wage. It was our idea.
Yeah.
But they couldn't pay even the one that we proposed. They are paying 30,000. But we're telling our people that you deserve 100,000 as a starting minimum wage. The reason is simple. There's no way a senator or president and his wife should be collecting maximum wage. And you that goes to work every day should not be collecting minimum wage of 100,000. A senator in Nigeria receives 14 million naira per month. A worker in Nigeria who has been working 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. receives 30,000. 30,000 divided by 14 million. You go and do the calculation. If you are receiving 30,000 naira per month, it will take you 37 years or thereabouts to receive 14 million, which is the monthly salary of a senator. They got another argument. The economists among them ran around say, Sowore is saying something that will cause inflation. I took them to the cleaners. Why is it that the money you steal every year don't cause inflation? Yes. After the election, we detected that the Central Bank of Nigeria, 4 or 5 people there stole 500 billion naira. Yeah. They were discussing it on the telephone. We got the audio. They first of all wanted to deny it, but they knew who they were dealing with. That I have already done my homework, which is voice recognition homework. They had to admit to it, but they said it was a different conversation they were having. Imagine what 500 billion naira could have done in the life of Nigerians in terms of providing free education, healthcare, completing several roads that are completed. I don't want to take you into the conversation about roads. I traveled in Nigeria during the election everywhere. So many of you were praying for me. Anytime you see me in Gombe, Adamawa, Taraba, what is this guy doing? Is he crazy? You know, I went to see Nigeria for what it is. That's why I did all those trips. Nigeria is ungoverned territory. Nigeria has no government. I'm sorry to say. I'm telling you. Some of those roads have not been touched in 20, 40 years. They have been trying to construct, not construct, but refurbish Ibadan Lagos Road for 20 years. They have not been able to finish it. They will finish one side. By the time they finish the other side, the second side is deliberate. Yes. You don't want to talk about healthcare. You don't want to talk about schools that we saw in the process of travel. You don't want to talk about the opportunities that have been lost, abandoned projects everywhere. And you don't want to talk about the fraud that Nigeria represents. The partition of Nigeria in a way that where there are no people, you have several local governments. Where there are people, no local governments. That whole federation scam. And that was why I was confident enough to tell people when they said, let us do restructuring. I said, first and foremost, when you want to restructure a country, you abandon the constitution that is a fraud. Yes. The Nigerian constitution, the 1999 constitution, is the most fraudulent document that exists in the annals of Nigeria. It was made by soldiers, military guys who were living power. And they wrote a phrase there, we the people of Nigeria. There was no person in Nigeria that was part of the making of the constitution. And when people cannot make their own constitution, the constitution cannot be a living project or a living document because the life of the people was not breathed. Was not given to that particular document. So to start with, I said, well, restructuring is fantastic. I believe in it. Any country that has existed for as long as Nigeria has existed, it's like a car that you bought. It requires fixing. You need to change the chassis. Some places change the tire. Some places you need to change the engine. In some places you need to jettison the car and buy a new car. And in Nigeria's case, Nigeria itself, ladies and gentlemen, was set up as a business by the British. It was actually set up by a company known as Royal Niger Company. Yes. And the idea was that the British wanted a place where they could do business. And Nigeria was their outpost, just like several other African countries. Until Nigeria becomes a nation, Nigeria cannot serve the interests of the people of Nigeria. But Nigeria will not become a nation because we are shouting restructuring, restructuring, because the people who are proponents of restructuring are the same people who have been restructuring Nigeria into their pockets.
Yes.
If you give them a chance to restructure Nigeria again, they will divide it, amongst themselves. The restructuring Nigeria needs has to do with a very, very radical restructuring, and it needs people who are radical enough to take on the antiquated, old, wicked, corrupt system. Tear it apart. Look at these leaders in their faces and tell them to their face that Nigeria does not need you anymore. Nigeria needs to move in a different direction. The ones that need to be confronted will be confronted. The ones that are corrupt should be sent to where they belong. There's no reason why Nigerians should be worshiping people who destroyed Nigeria on a daily basis, whereas innocent people that stole chicken are languishing in prison. The likes of Babangida are staying in a 50-room mansion in Niger. Obasanjo is staying in another mansion in Abeokuta. Abubakar is staying in another mansion in Niger State in Mina. All these terrible leaders, they need to be sent into oblivion. And if you are in doubt about this, Greece here is an example of where a young person came from nowhere. I was told that one of the first things he did was to remove the police that were guarding all their corrupt leaders and put them back in the police force. Anybody that is rich cannot have more than 2 police. Before you knew it, Greece was able to pull itself out of an economic recession. But in Nigeria, the more wicked you are, the more policemen you have. Even garage dogs in Nigeria, they have policemen, 5 mobile policemen, 6 mobile policemen guarding them. When I was running for presidency, I applied for police protection. They said they can never give me. But they called me aside and said, if you are ready, we have the special one. I said, tell me about the special one. He said, well, do you want one deluxe bus in front and one in back? I said, yes. He said, this is the amount. They didn't know who they were talking to. He said, do you need 2 policemen in front and 2 policemen in the back and one between the car? I said, yes. This is the amount. Do you need AK-47 carried by this thing and everybody carry gun? I say yes. I say, this is the amount. Do you need the AK-47 to have 2 magazines or you have 1? Because if it is 1 magazine, if I keep that back home, the moment we don't shoot finish, we don't leave you with that. I say yes, this is the amount. There's a black market for security if you can pay for it. But the ordinary people have no protection in Nigeria. That was why we designed our own agenda and called it Spicer Heat. You know, and security was the first item on the agenda of our Spicer Heat programs, and which is followed by power. We said it during that time that without power, electricity in Nigeria is going nowhere. You don't need to tell a primary school student about it. Do you know that 3 days ago, Dangote was now saying that for the past 18 years, they have not been able to put in 1,000 megawatts of electricity. It was comparing what Egypt did. Egypt has done almost 20,000 megawatts. I said, Dangote is stealing my ideas. This is what I said during the election. And we talk about infrastructure. Nigeria has massive infrastructural deficits. There's no connectivity, there's no integration. So how do you get from point A to B? At the point that we are supposed to have had a train, fast train moving from Lagos to Port Harcourt and to Maiduguri, they are still trying to construct the second Niger Bridge. And without completing the second Niger Bridge, they are advertising it every day. Everybody goes to visit the second Niger Bridge. The pillars there, as if it's Mecca. I say, why don't you guard them complete the bridge? Let the people use it and stop going there for pilgrimage. Stupid people. I'm sorry to say, our leaders lack common sense. But it is because we have not gotten strong enough to confront them and tell them and challenge them and say enough is enough. And enough being enough means that we might take extraordinary measures, like they did in Sudan, like they did in Algeria, like they did in Tunisia. Because when you push people to the wall, they are supposed to turn around and bite you back. But in Nigeria, you push them into the wall, they ask you to give them digger. They will be digging into that wall. And leaders have become used to to the fact that no matter which direction you push Nigerians, they will endure the nonsense. And then they will turn around and be calling you Rakadid, praising you. You go to every church in Nigeria, the criminals sit in front. You know? Church even has become business. Mosque has become an economic business. Because why? There's always a correlation between poverty and religiosity. Even the people that gave us religion, they are not as religious as we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So if Paul came from here, why is there no church in every street in Greece? I've not seen any church except on top of the mountain we went to. Yes. There's a small church there, you know. Yes. And I was, well, you know, on every street.
It's different from our church.
Yeah. But in Nigeria, when you walk past the church, you can't miss, you will know. Yes. So, well, don't let us even go the side of religion, you know, because, you know, the pastor also came after me during the session. I'm always constantly criticizing their way of life. I can't understand why. No. You don't have to take guilt on behalf of people who are not representing you.
Yeah.
It's not your job. I don't understand why people are so poor in Nigeria. Pastors are flying jets around. You know, people who come to church cannot afford to go to universities run by the church. Yes, it's a contradiction. You know, but again, we are not here to preach. I've been invited to church tomorrow, so check out this morning. But ladies and gentlemen, without boring you, one other thing I want us to do before I sit down is also to engage. You probably have seen politicians come around, talk. We are used to them. And then when they leave, they do a different thing. And they don't listen to you, they don't hear you out. Even when they listen to you, they are always like, I'm in a hurry. Tonight, we may be in a hurry, but I would love also to take questions, take comments, suggestions. It is through the questions and comments and suggestions that we can figure out, like Vince says, what's happened before. But I can tell you categorically that I don't have much to reveal about why we fell. Because the rules for elections were not met. The conditions for elections were not met. So I do not accept as a candidate that I lost an election last time. Because there was no election. Yes, as I mentioned, if you went to the World Cup with a team, and the team did not play, and somebody's lifting the cup and walking around, you know that's fraud, right? And that's what happened in Nigeria. I believe very strongly that if Nigerians were allowed to exercise their franchise, during the last election, if they were allowed to vote without intimidation, without harassment, without the fraud that attended the 2019 selection, we would have had a different result today. And I'm sure that Nigerians are tired of this set of leaders that we have now. I have no doubt that Nigerians are tired of Buhari. Even at the point, his wife was tired of him. So why would other people not be tired of him? One last thing I will say, which might be a little alarming, is that Nigeria doesn't have much time left. Yes. If there is any time I am scared about Nigeria as a united entity, whatever you want to call it, it is this time. It feels like mentally a lot of Nigerians have left Nigeria. And if they keep managing Nigeria the way they are, if they keep driving Nigeria on these rough roads, it's a matter of time before the container at the back detaches from the trailer motor that is driving Nigeria. And you can imagine what will happen. I hope it doesn't. It's my hope that Nigeria remains a united entity, but only on the basis of justice. If we continue to have an unfair and unjust country, nation, managed by the enemies of the people, it will not continue for a long time. So I am scared. I am scared, and I have to say this about Nigeria. I think a lot of people are tired of Nigeria, the way Nigeria is now. And a lot of people, things can happen. The only option we have is for us to start right now to head in a different direction. this particular direction is leading us to nowhere but the Atlantic Ocean. Something we have to give. It's just a matter of time. Things continue this way. And this is the first time in my adult life, I'm 48 years old, I'm genuinely scared about Nigeria. I was around when June 12th was annulled. I was scared, but I was never this scared. And, I was behind Abiola those days. Even when Abiola died, we were worried that his death would lead to the disintegration of Nigeria. But he didn't. But this time around, the cleavages have widened up because of class inequality, because of poverty, because of ethnic injustice, because of domination, superiority and inferiority complexes clashing, and the unorthodox way of government that Nigeria has adopted. So, as the last thing I want to say, because I'll be holding it in my mind, but I have to say it so that my mind can free up too, that at least I express this to my fellow Nigerians that I met you here. So, on that note, thank you so much. And I want to thank you for just joining us. Thank you so much. One thing you don't do is to give a politician microphone. They don't know how to stop. But I want to stop at this point. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you once again for putting this together with a short time. We have plans to come back. We are planning the European tour. This will remain a global movement. We don't want to run another political party of the way they run it. We want to have a movement so that our agenda, our conduct, our characteristics are distinct and different from the ones that we are used to. As though we don't hide our feelings, we don't hide our position on issues, and we hope you two will continue to hold your own very strong. One other housekeeping I need to do is that we hope that you will set up your executives as soon as possible here, so that we can recognize the group here, and whatever you need from us, you should feel free to reach out to me or the leaders. Vince will be in possession of my contacts. And as I travel around the world, we'll continue to make sure that whenever you need us, we will stop over here in Greece. One thing you should know is that there are 20 million Nigerians outside of the country. 20 legitimate. 20 million. Yes, that's bigger than a lot of African countries. We are so strong that at this point, we are contributing more money to the Nigerian economy than even oil through remittances. But nobody would even allow us to vote. Part of our agenda is to force diaspora voting rights on the government of Nigeria within the next 4 years. Another thing is to also force them to adopt electronic voting in such a way that every Nigerian that's in possession of a document that's electronically verified can vote anywhere they are, including abroad. But there's no way we can be having ATMs where you can withdraw money regardless of where you open an account. And you cannot have Nigerians vote wherever they might find themselves. It is our inability to vote transparently that gives the likes of Buhari an opportunity to do this criminal acts that they did in 2019, which is what we call election. So, thank you once again. I just wanted to make this
AAC, take it back. AAC,
take it back.
AAC,
take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Action.
Great. Thank you very much, our future president today. I would really appreciate all the manifestos, 10-point manifestos of the AAC that you have really given us all the details what AAC stands for and what we plan for the population votes. So with these notes, we have come to the comment section. question and answers, because without some questions, there are still some secrecy that I believe that you guys should know. And there are some information that you might have heard somewhere that you will need clarification from him directly. So I would appreciate your questions, and we don't want a story questions. We just need you to go straight to the point. You know, when I'm saying that, we just need accurate question. We don't need a lot of stories, because we have a lot of with, you know, thousands of questions to ask. So please, we need questions. Question, right?
Question and answer.
Okay, sir, please. Your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President. I am the chairman of Nigeria's Diaspora, Greece.
Right.
It's a pleasure, you know, meeting you here. See, and listen to what I'm saying, and it's not a new thing. When I say it's not a new thing, but you know how we started, and we have been here, see what's going on back home. Good thing you're here. What I'm saying now has to do with us. Mainly for you to know actually where we are. You see, when the election was going on, almost all Nigerians abroad, they are tried. They are seeing everything, because it also can, we have this digital system now. So, nothing, could I say, was hidden for us, you know, but we continue trying for the fact that we couldn't do anything. Our hands are in tight hand, and you somehow mention some of them, and you know what you have been doing, trying to tackle the monster battle. And we know why we couldn't move forward. But with you, mind you, apart from you, there's another diaspora, you know, that tried like you to do something, and you couldn't reach anywhere. And after the whole thing, he came back to Europe. We were together, you know, through our interaction. We tried to analyze things. Do the thing here now. My people like him, we need them. I mean, we outside.
Yes.
We need them to make our voice heard back home. We need them to work to reach our people. You are here in Greece. I'm going to use the example of Greece. Greece is something today. It's because of their efforts. Worldwide, when they talk of the Jews, the next people we talk of are Greece. They manipulate their system from outside. You talk of voting rights. I would like you to take it up within these 4 years. We just want to be fighting it. You know, Chair, I've been saying it, trying to see how to make Nigerians get their ID, national ID, and make it possible for them whenever things like that happen. We don't take it as a personal something, because we know that the federal government names it, they are playing games. Then they don't take it on themselves to make it available to people. Although it will cost us, but you know the importance. And this opportunity to let you know that when Nigeria is bringing it, let everybody try to lay hand on that, because that will give you a chance to do whatever you want to do with people like this. Because without your voting right, without your ID, we are still nowhere. And this is what the Kabas are using in order to suppress you and me without having any right. We are here in Greece. We know what Greece do. The university, everything is being built by Greece in diaspora. And there are people talking. This problem they have had now, before the whole thing started, this young guy that came in had a bargain with Greece abroad. Try to make this easier for them. And immediately they come in, their problem is solved. You say it all the big guns. And he will come back. This election, they will take a time. He will not come back. You know how he will touch them, and the police will go for him. Just like what have been doing, coming just now when somebody who started, have not been a senator, have not been a nothing, just from nowhere, like you. He made it because they don't have and come down to the base. And this is what you are doing. Have you seen any of those big guys coming to see you?
No.
Just see a person there. This person will be your best president if you know what to do. But you know what to do when you first of all say to yourself that yes, I am. Because you said it also, we have been, my ass, we have been, I don't know how to put it. You know, when you see our eyes, we say that it's not my own. You and me, we are inside the same boat. You think the person to the other side trying to remove the water. Why the boat is sinking? You are on the other side said it doesn't concern me. This is what you are doing. It doesn't concern me. Until the boat, both of you will do what? Sing. So this time around, I don't want to waste time. But I want you to know something. You mentioned 2 things that are paying us, that we need. If at all, we can have a seat. And I know we can do that. Help us build those things. Our voting rights, our ID issue, and leave the rest for us. We know how to make it work when time comes. So, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Comments and questions? We are still on comment section. We have questions. Comments. Please, your name is Clement.
AAC. Take it back. Action.
I want to thank our president to be in the nearest future. I'm so happy you are here with us today. And you laid emphasis on your starting very early this time around. I praise God for that. Yes, I want to ask one question. Let me just a word of advice. I think it's better because most people back home, they've been waiting on you to see. And I don't look, I'm not in Nigeria. Sessions like this back home, since the election is over, it's not good you just relax and stay back. It's good you go back to them again, show to them, because I'm from Benin.
Yes.
I know how those boys went going to the villages, and people asking them, give us money. If you don't give us money, we don't support. I think this time around, it's good we start early too, to begin to let them know. Let your presence be felt. Let them not feel that you didn't come out as a president, you just went back in, as some would say, you made some money, you took the money, you just relaxed back. So it's high time you come out, sir, and let them know that yes, we are starting. Or do we have any penalty? Do you have any penalty in Nigeria if you start now, begin to reach out to the people, sir?
No penalty, and I've said that actually, obviously, thank you so much. We have been doing that. Those of you following, we saw the emotion. We have about 500 people after the election. On June 17, there's going to be a major protest in Lagos led by the ANC to discuss the issue of electricity bill. It's one of the biggest problems that people are facing. They are not supplied with electricity, but they get billed for it. So we have been, I also went to, I think, Ogule before I came. We had a lot of things set up for universities, and the impression that, oh, you made money. People say that because, like I mentioned, they targeted us after the election because they saw how powerful the delivery was. All the money we raised was about 160 million naira. We will not do one rally for ABC, in Nigeria. But they were surprised that we could use that little money to have the kind of reach we had. And the other next thing is Nigeria, when they hear figures, they think all of them came one day. They didn't understand, some people didn't understand, but some did, and a lot of people appreciate us for doing that. That it took a year to raise that amount of money, and the money was in little droplets, but we managed it very well, and that was why we were able to also give an accounting of the money that we raised after the election. But I'll tell you, a lot of people spent money without giving it to us directly. They sent money to their villages, they set up offices. And I should also inform you that in Benin City as we speak, some of our people have started a soap making group, and they teach people how to make soap. A lot of projects are coming up. Some of our people have paid wide fees of refugees in various states. A lot of programs, philanthropy. My own position as a leadership is that, yes, you can do philanthropy symbolically, build schools, donate chairs. But what will eventually solve Nigeria's problem is not individual philanthropy, but responsible governance.
Yes.
That's what's going to. So we must make sure that we run a country run by us that can build schools, not to be donating 5 chairs to the school. We need thousands of classrooms in Nigeria. We must build it. We need thousands of highway, we need train lines. No individual can donate trains, big country. No individuals can really donate highways. It's government that should do it. So changing the government is a bigger priority for us than philanthropy. But we encourage those of you who want to do philanthropy, do it through AAC, Takeitback. If you want to sponsor people, or you have even employment, and a lot of our people who followed us this time around who need jobs, so that when we are doing the next election, they are able to contribute even to the election. Nobody has been able to raise money in Nigeria to run for election like we did, the one we did. It is because Nigerians believed that these guys have a different. Otherwise, Nigerians will wait for you to come and give them money to vote for you. In our own case, they were sending money to us. We were in a police station in Mushin, and I think they showed it. And I met the police officer there who said, I'm a regular contributor to you anytime you're on the couch. He was telling their boss, he said, don't touch these people because these are the people who are going to liberate Nigeria in the future. Because I'm tired of wearing this stupid uniform. I'm collecting 200. He said, anytime they go out and they collect money, he doesn't share with them. Because he knows that it's blood money. The same people that have nothing to you, force them to give you money. There's no way they will get home and be happy with you. No. So anytime they are costing, the cost will follow you. So when something terrible happens to you in the future, just know it's the 200 naira you are collecting from, what the Yorubas call the Agbalowo Mary. You are collecting from somebody who doesn't have. So it must affect you. So everybody donated to us. People were donating 1,000 naira, 200 naira, 500 naira to our Zenith Bank account. A lot of people donated through GoFundMe. A lot of people sent us money through our state chapters, particularly in Edo states. We had a lot of support of people who directly funded their local governments. So the activities are going on, and it's part of what we expect you to do when you organize enough, whatever you want to do. But centrally, it is focusing and building a movement that can wrestle power from these people that is going to eventually save Nigeria.
Your name please?
My name is Nkechi.
Nkechi, please.
You're very welcome to Grace.
Thank you.
I think now it's different from what you've had. So I would like to ask you a question because you've been saying a lot of things, but I know we all are from Nigeria, and it's not difficult to hear like what happened. I was really disappointed, not really disappointed in the election, because I was discussing with friends and they were telling me about AAC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So the young guy that came in with this and said, okay, it's very good, it's impressive, and we have a young person running for the election, but I don't know, because we have
Go ahead.
Because we have a lot of, I mean, I'll call them, I usually call them godfathers, that never leave the position they have. So I would like to ask you now that you've run and you saw what happened in the previous election. What is it that you're going to do differently this time? I mean, to make it, I mean, not to repeat, or what happened not to repeat itself, because not by bribing or giving or whatever. What is it that you're going to do that will make a difference?
Thank you very much. So what we need to do differently is what we're doing now. Starting early, first and foremost. The next elections will be in 2023. And we have to build movements that percolates to the grassroots. I am surprised, and I'm saying it again, that many people actually heard from us. At this conference that I attended yesterday, I met a guy from Kano. He said his son converted his house to my campaign office. The guy has never met me before. He just listened one day on Facebook and saw what I was saying. If you also look at, and I'm just looking at the past, if you go to Facebook and even social media today, when Zamfara started, they went and picked things I said it was Zamfara, as if I was not only a candidate, I was clairvoyant enough to predict the future. And they cut it and put it there. When, a few days ago, they said June 12 is now Democracy Day, they went and picked up what I said in Abeokuta a year ago, that I will make June 12 the Democracy Day. 3 days later, Buhari ran to Abiola's family. Suddenly they packaged GCFR, for all of them, just so that they will steal that idea. And many things that we said, but we're starting now, so that the message that we already have can reach everybody that is looking for the liberation. And also, not to mince words about our determination this time around. That is why I'm using words sometimes that some people might find provocative, like revolution. But there's nothing wrong with it, because until they know that everybody is ready and is tired of the nonsense, you cannot wrestle power from these people. This is what they eat. This is their social security power in Nigeria, political power. This is what, and if you let them continue like this, the power will not be transferred to the people, it will be transferred to their families. And you will just be looking and your generation will be an onlooker. People ask all the time, like I said, oh, why don't you go and start from local? When I ask them, when Zeke was fighting for independence, how old was he? When Awolowo was fighting for independence, how old was he? And twice the age of everybody that fought for Nigeria's independence. They were in their 20s. But like when he was secretary of, the action group, Demo, they were 23 years old. Even Buhari, when he first became the head of state, how old was he? Obasanjo, when he was first head of state, how old was he? When Babangida did the coup in 1985, how old was he? These guys were either in their 20s or 30s. When Gowon became the president of Nigeria through a coup, how old was he? 29. He got married after he became the head of state. And people are looking at themselves. Is it when I become 80-something that is now telling that I'm eligible to be Nigeria's president? And you are looking as your life is departing from you. You are looking as they are separating you from a destiny that should make you happy. Why are we all sitting here today, ladies and gentlemen? It's not because we are not comfortable in Greece. Some of you don't even need Nigeria. Some of you have built homes in Nigeria that you never stay in. But because somehow they bury your umbilical cord in that place, and you are always wishing for a better Nigeria. I was saying something here to a friend of ours when I arrived there. Each time that he was president, each time I see a bridge that is working, I wish I could just go to the bridge and replicate it and put it in a post office, send it to Nigeria. If I see a school that is working, I wish I could just go there and send it by, UPS or FedEx to Nigeria. Because I cannot stand the fact that things that would ordinarily be working are not even functioning. I'll say something to you that might shock those of you who are sitting here today. That had Nigerians made the right choice on February 23rd, 2019, and voted us, me, into power, by now, Nigeria will be a different place. Yes, I'm telling you. I would have done it and not I would have rolled up my sleeves. By now, you will hear that president is here, places are being fixed, boreholes are being done, justice will be returning. We are talking to the people we need to talk to. Conversations that need to be happening are happening. Dialogue that needs to be happening. People we need to apologize to for the injustice we've done to them. We apologize to them. Like people of the southeast, and I'm not saying it to please anybody. We cannot kill 3 million people from a place for no just cause. Say the war is over and you continue the war is over. So we're talking to everybody. Open the space for the conversations that we are afraid of. Open the space for the country that places that people are afraid to go to. They will be able to go to the place. And if the criminals that are perpetrating the crime in Nigeria know that there is no support for them in Aso Rock, they will pack and go. Of course. Yeah. Some people will leave the country on their own volition and never come back. I don't have to drive them because the policies of government will make it clear that day and night cannot be cohabiting. It's as simple as that. And I've never missed words about this. And that would have been the revolution we're talking about. Because suddenly, you can also come back home at the airport and no custom person is asking you for what you're doing for me, which is a disgrace. Or that there's air conditioning in the airport, it shouldn't take more than 5 days to restore it. Because where there's no air conditioning, somebody's actually removing the air conditioning. When the roads are not working, somebody has been given the contract and he refuses to implement it. But if they know that the president that came to power did not come through Godfather's, all the contractors will know that they have to relocate back to sites. It's as simple as that. It's just a general call. I will read a speech on the day. If you are a contractor and you are in charge of a federal contract, please don't let me remind you. Go back to site and complete the project within such a time because you have already received mobilization fee. I don't care, and I'm saying this categorically. I'm sorry for those who are feeling for traditional ruler. If you're a traditional ruler, as long as you're a contractor, you do the contract first. Otherwise, you and your crown will be inside jail. Action. So these are things that become very depressing to me. The day Buhari was sworn in, I just couldn't live with myself. Because I imagine myself standing on that podium that day and making a few declarations. And the country will just be on autopilot from that day. Yes. And there's a way things happen. And some of the temples even will fall. Let's be shake off. All right, your question.
My name is Okwemi Fakode. I was in Greece during your campaign, and I got to know you on the YouTube. So following you up gave me a lot of hope about Nigeria. And I was like 80% sure that this is going to win this election. So fortunately for me, I was in Nigeria 2 weeks before the election. When my brother came to pick me at the airport, I was asking him, how far about the election? Who are you going to vote for? It was like that. We don't even know if it's going to be Buhari or Ati. Then I said, are you so stupid? You are a university student. You don't even know the candidates that we have in Nigeria. I said, who are the candidates? And I mentioned to him, who would know that one? Are you serious? I said, yes. That means you are not educated about what is going on in Nigeria. I left him. A few days later, I went out. Asked this, asked that. Nobody knows. And I was like, what is going on? I stayed at that. Then the following day, he came back to me and told me, bros, where you come from, things wrong there. But this is where the party is. We are having the party here. So when you get to the party, you join them. Here there is nothing like what you are saying. We started arguing. It took me to within Ibadan. It was only one area, challenge. I saw the poster. Only one place. Then I look around. Then I start to drop. And definitely, I don't see anything going on. What I want to bring out is this. The fact of the matter is that election is being won by the population. This is what I hear everywhere. And when people gather together, they have power, no matter how manipulative you are. When people don't know you, they don't know this party, they cannot wait. And my first question is, what are you planning to do? How do you plan to go about it? Making all those illiterates to know, making all those mothers, all those women in the market.
Yes.
2 days before the election, I was going to my house, and I saw a van. They are distributing Gari and Kuli. I thought there was an issue, serious, because the time everybody was blocked. What is going on? I discovered that the reason for all the riots, some people are just spreading out Gari and Kuli, and people are rushing their First thing is this. In Nigeria, you need to be very, very smart to bring people to the knowledge of what you need. Unless they will not take it, what do you plan to do to make those guys, even the students in Nigeria, because I was in Nigeria during the election, even the university students, they don't want to vote. All the guys I met, they don't even have PVC. They said they never get it because they know already who is going to win. Everybody has dropped that hope that why voting, why wasting your time? So far you know who is going to win. Unless there is a way of addressing these people, bringing them to the knowledge of the truth, they won't be able to go or see the same thing with you. That's number one. Number two is this. Even this country that we are, when Zilza was about to vote and all this, he couldn't do it alone. After the vote, I know people here will be able to know that he had to form a coalition party with Anne Fagin. And at the long run, Chipra became the prime minister, and the other guy became
the first minister.
So, one thing I believe brings the little people that know you not to believe you, that even me I doubt you, is why not forming a coalition party with all the youth? We have vibrant youth in Nigeria of your age that they have almost the same vision with you, and we believe that they too on various they can do so many things. If 5 or 6 gather together, I don't remember the votes we got. I was following 1.something million, I think. 1.3 or something like that, I don't remember.
Go ahead.
So, other parties too, that they are used to, they get almost the same thing. All these gather together, I think the voice will be stronger and people will be more convinced that, okay, if truly all the youth that want to bring out themselves, if truly they have the mind of Nigeria and they really want to help Nigeria work for Nigeria, why not gathering together? Why not do something together? What are you going to do concerning that? Because we have youth now separated. It's different people in this room now if we are all together, or if we are 4, if we are divided into 4, the power will be lower. So, but if we are one together, it's going to be stronger, and you need this to fight all these useless people that are there.
Thank you.
Just that you know that once we're doing here is going live, so they're watching it worldwide. Okay. So I want every question to be very brief. I'm taking only 3 more questions. Okay, sorry. We can't hear you.
Come forward, please.
Come forward, please.
I'm going to ask SK now. I want to go straight to your question. I'm not going to ask a question about it because I'm looking for what show I've been through Nigeria and came back before this. Nigeria is a country that is so dramatic with everything. You cannot change that complexity there. The more you talk to them, the more they'll tell you, are you the only one abroad? Who've been there? We're talking about realities here. In us to come together and abolishing this nation is for us to throw out the whole cake that we're thinking of. One head can make a point, while the others follows to make the impact. Colonization does not mean they all knows the issues affecting us. Sometimes we need to come back to our own table and ask ourselves, who are we colonizing with? What's going to be the intake that we're bringing on the table? It's not about being so much educated. It's about imparting what is actually African to Nigerians. I'm a true African, and I'm a historian, if you know me very well. Sometimes they call me the radio boy award. But when it comes to Nigerian history, from where we found ourselves till now, I'll break it down for you. Our division today is us. We should start telling us the truth. It's not about the north, south, east, west, or north. No. Nigeria is so dramatic that we can stand and tell me if the person in north eats okra and the person in south eats okra, we don't have a difference. If there's no light in north, there's no light in south. There's no road in north, there's no road in south. So let's keep all these differences and stop finding coordination. What we need today is togetherness solution. We need a togetherness solution. No matter the tribe, no matter who is losing, no matter who is winning, together we can win those battles. I'll tell you, I graduated from Unijos 2001. When they had a just crisis, okay, everybody was running like a skater. Answer Amefe Boridi will tell about me. I was the only student that stood and said, all Deltans must get home before I go home. And I rescued more than 140 students of Delta State, getting to Asaba, to Ibori's hand. Meaning, it was not about what I'm going to gain. Let's fight together. Let's leave what is the blame now and find solution. This is just my little support to all the solution. Because take it back does not mean I have to ask you your problem. Our problem is our problem. Let's take it back together. And together, we can educate more Nigerians. Because the Nigerian out there is the biggest problem. To tell them the truth, they will tell you, my guy, go sit down, what do you know? And this is the reality. You know what change ourselves. You understand? Your brother is educated, yeah, he knows the truth. He knows that, this party will go, but at the end of the day, you know something, you know. Then that's we move in family. Where come from? You don't see it before, or you don't castle before. All this was not the world. When they divide our money, so don't they call party. So make we see ourselves there, join together and take her like that. You don't need to come and start saying, this one I be coordination. There's no coordination. Together we take it back from now and forever. This is my stand. Thank you very much.
Two young men sitting down there, please. Just as we Pastor, we couldn't hear you.
Just wanted to do some of the questions
What is your
looking at the political environment in Nigeria. If Nigeria was to be a country where they said to an extent free and fair election would prevail, definitely would have been able. Right? And when I heard you spoke, I said that it was different. That we have the same ears in that country. Because I believe that the powers that be will not easily let it go. This has been for decades. For me, is it how do we involve in you? Because it is the you that really will be able to take this decision. The old ones, they go to the market to share carrying and all these things. You know, it is difficult to change our orientation. But we that are young, those that are even younger than we do, I believe the world, this world, you did not give me money. Just when I this is different. Just like the political party that took the land of Greece, was a young man and he came out and he fought. He had no political inclination before. The man ran for the mayor of Athens years back and lost. But over time they went and built themselves into the country. So we have to involve the youth. Because to be able to get a revolution, not the old ones, the old are already comfortable.
Yeah.
We have to mobilize the youth, those in the schools, those I think they play a very vital role. And also, just a question, when you ran, did you really think that you will win?
Yes.
But, yeah.
So, and the name is AC. Yeah. I spoke to, I said, it's more pan-African. Do you think that is giving us more of a force in Nigeria to be cohesive in Nigeria? Because looking at the name, it's a great name, but is it what will help us to be focused? Because we know that there are fathers around this day, Anna, Toma, and the rest. So maybe your response to the rest.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
I still 10 minutes because, I will give a grace and we increase it to 3 more people. Okay, so I'll take 3 more questions.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Greece.
Yes.
So please, I just
get
my name is Philip.
Your name, please.
My name is Philip Alamata. Yeah. Please, I just want to ask a little question, just a small question. Yeah. We are Nigerians, and I see that Nigerians is scattered by different ways. Me, I'm like a Biafran now.
Yes.
You understand me? Because of the way we see ourselves about that Nigeria, so we need to fight our freedom.
Yes.
But when I heard that you are doing campaign, I'm always following you. Why did I follow you? Because you are youth. That's why I joined to follow you. And when he came here, I tried to talk to my Yoruba people. That's why they directed me to come here. Actually, I decided to be a Biafra. So my question goes like this. How can you bring Nigerians together? How can you discuss with him and Carlo? How can you meet him? How can you bring the guy together and discuss with the guy so the guy can bring the youth to you so you people can join hands together and make Nigeria to be one? So please, I want to know how can you do that. Thank you very much.
Your name is, my name is Aditini Oluwaseun. This is not a question, it's just an advice to you, sir. Like a friend of mine here is a good supporter of you. Anytime I ask him like, bring out what do you say about this election? You say you are going to win. But when I call back home, they say this man is social media president. So what I want to tell you now is that you should go back home, try your best to win the soul back home, not the media. Because I don't see anything without back home. If it's only the media, we are not going anywhere. That is just it.
Thank you. Your name was
Action. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back.
Action.
Mr. Omoyede Sowore, our future president. I'm actually here today because I know you are coming, and I want to have this privilege or this opportunity to meet you. You have been a mentor in Nigeria to Nigerian youths, and you have been a very solid voice. And you know, in politics, I don't want you to be discouraged or to lose focus. From when I started following you fully, it was when I saw you on YouTube with one of the ministers. I don't know if he's still the Minister of Communication or whatever. You know, when I saw him talking to you, the way he was addressing you even publicly, and I know that this thing is going viral, I was wondering that who made this such kind of people ministers over us? Because I saw your composure and your coordination. He wasn't coordinated at all through the interview. So I said to myself that there is something this man is bringing into this country, and this old man do not want him to stand. And somebody talked about coalition, and when the other young man from Delta, when he answered, I think maybe he was trying to misunderstand this man. I have some friends back home that are into politics too, like some in ANROP and so on. They are youths as well. I believe the coalition, you talk about revolution in most of your words. I always speak that word. And we cannot revolt, we cannot do anything alone without togetherness. I believe the voice you have now, joining it together with that of those other youths that have the same ambition with you, I believe can take AAC to greater heights. We look forward to seeing a country where the youths will have voice. We see what is happening all over the world now. The youths are taking all over. And Nigeria is not supposed to be an exemption. The issue of coalition, trying to join force with other parties that you know they are youths, they have the same ideology or the same vision with you. I think it will be a very great start for us to really get there, because we cannot do it alone.
AAC, Takeitback,
Action.
My name is Mr. Sowore, the Assistant Cultural Director of Nigeria Community. Thank you, my coming president. I believe that Mr. Omoyele Sowore will rule Nigeria. Believe me. I'm not happy about this. It will take time, okay? Because there is a parable in my place that it will take time to soon look for this place, okay? Sir, I'll first of all speak to all of us here. I will make myself as an example. I was following you on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Believe me, I forced my parents to go and vote for him. Told them, listen, this is the not calling me Sendimon. People are suffering. I'm tired. So please, me, I'm the one sending the money, right? I think it is time I have say now. Which they tell me okay. And they went to the polling units. They did not see any of your agents on the ballot box. Believe me, I was so disappointed. I will say that. In Benin. So, what I'm trying to say to everyone here is this. Sir, I will first of all beg you. We in the diaspora, we have voice. More than people in Africa. Take it or leave it. Me, I can tell you that I can convince 10 to 15 people in Nigeria, Benin City, only me, as my family. It can convince 15 people. I would like this, your visit of this time, I would like to repeat it, not only to Greece, to every part of Europe. Try to tell them your mission. They can easily convince their people back home as well. Believe me, we are so, I think we here, we are not up to 100. Nigerians in Athens is more than 2,000. If I'm not making a mistake, Nigerians. Okay, so, sir, I will beg, please, I would like you to visit, and I don't know who is your party leader here, to make sure to spread the news as much as you can. Because believe me, for now, I don't believe you can start going back in Nigeria now and be doing campaign, because election is gone. But you have the right to do campaign in Europe, in diaspora. Okay, so sir, please, I would like you to visit and make the schedule, make it popular to everybody to know, for people to hear his vision, his plans over Nigeria. So please, we here as well, please, if we really want to take it back from our hearts, we should as well convince our people back home that it's time. We are tired of this same people ruling from ages, still ruling us.
So we can't hear you, please. Because
I know we are really
their sons. Their sons or their, I mean, those ones you feel that they are intelligent, get close to them. Form a group with them. Let them be part of your campaign, whatever.
Their children.
Their children. Because this man, you have what it takes. You have what it takes. You have what it takes to get in contact with them. You understand? You might not get to that. You don't go duty and jail. Gradually, you can get in contact with them. As soon as you got in contact with them, you can brainwash them. You can even on their brain. You can talk them against their fathers. You can't keep on following their old mentality. You understand? Because that's not good. Affect them. So get close to them. Sit down with them one on one. Tell them what their father is supposed to do. Not their brain against their father. You understand?
Thank you so much, everyone. Great communication today. I thought that I would bombard with questions, but I'm getting even more advice and comments that are very heartwarming. And I want to thank you for that. One thing I would tell you is that this time around, I went to the place called Nigeria. Before the election, I tell you, most of you think you know Nigeria, you don't know Nigeria. If you haven't been to certain parts of Nigeria, you will not understand how the country works. And because of the comments that have been made, I will just address two major planks of the commentary as I see them. The issue of reaching out to more people, creating coalition, creating awareness, to such an extent that people will know you enough next time. My brother, what happened to us was well planned for the outcome that you saw. You know, we pasted posters. You cannot believe that in Nigeria, there are people who paste posters, but they are not as important as people who tear posters. There is a brigade in Lagos that tears posters, and it gets police protection. In fact, some of our poster people were arrested during the election. We're the only party whose persons were arrested and prosecuted for posting our posters in Lagos. They are still in court as we speak. Secondly, I don't know if you remember that even the common debates that all the candidates were asked, they removed me from the debate. Even when the polls came back and said I was the number 3 most important person to be included in the debate, we took them to court. The judge on the day of judgment said, oh, he suddenly remembered that his vacation is over. He never gave a judgment. He now transferred the case to another judge. The case was never reassigned again to be heard or decided upon as we speak. I'm just giving you the background. The people who want this result, they already had their rights packaged. They did not campaign. Go and ask anybody in Ibadan where the Sowore only came to Ibadan and maybe spoke. I don't even think he spoke, he just waved. But it wasn't Buhari they were looking for, it was the price. In fact, if you are on the internet, you must have seen what they did in Lagos State, where Sowore, who is now the governor, took trailers to the Lagos State Secretariat. They were throwing rice out. There were injuries visited upon people as they were cashing a small rice. It was a bedlam because they wanted the outcome that we saw today. We, on our part, went to contest for an election with ideas. They went into the election with handouts. And even at the end of the day, some people were willing to take their money and their rights and still vote against them. But they did not make it possible for such people to even see the ballot paper. That's correct. Talk less of voting. We were talking about Benin and the issue of agents. For you to have agents in all the polling booths in Nigeria, you need 120,000 agents. a lot of people volunteered to be our agents because we couldn't afford it. Every agent for the PPC or PDP were collecting an average of 10,000 naira per agent. Multiply that by 120,000. All the money we raised was not enough to even pay agents. But we had volunteers who were willing to work for us. Some of them said they never saw the presiding officer till the end of the election. But yet, election results came out showing that elections took place in all those places. I want to add another thing that they did in this election we are talking about voting, is that so many people that voted for us, even people, some of our agents that had results showing that people voted for us, when they did the coalition, they allocated 0 votes to AAC. These are things that happen. In my hometown, because I was president and there was drone, I won in my polling unit and won in several polling because there was drone. They couldn't rig it, they were afraid of me. I am sure that we won in several places. But there was no counting of the elections. They let me win my polling unit because I was too strong for them. They brought soldiers, I fought the soldiers. They pointed a gun at me, I said shoot. They left me alone. But in other places, even Atiku did not win his polling unit. Oshibajo did not win his polling unit because people were there. But in other places, for example, in certain places in Lagos, they did not allow people from the southeast to vote because they know they were not going to vote for Buhari. Mass disenfranchisement. I'll go to the issue of coalition. You see, when we first came, we didn't have a political party. Our intention was that we push because I started February 2018, and one of the parties we accept us. At that point, there were about 70-something parties in Nigeria. You know what PDP did? Every party that we approached, including Ganifa Women's Party, NCP, they went and bought them and put them in a coalition of 45 parties. They joined PDP. The rest, APC went and bought them. They all endorsed Atiku and Buhari. So we only had a few parties left, and all those parties, they were briefcase parties. You couldn't know who their owners are. Even the ones that you know the owners, when you meet with them, they ask you outrightly for 10 million naira for the chairman. Then the vice president, the vice chairman will ask for another money. If they were all in business, in existence to make money. That was why we secretly went and registered our own party. Before we registered our own party, all the young people met in a coalition discussion, known as PACT. Maybe you guys have forgotten. And Fela Grotoye was there, Moghalu was there. When I got to the meeting, they had already brought the people that would vote for one of the candidates. I saw it because I've been doing student union for how many years. I told them that this is not transparent. The young people who were supposed to run for election were not different from the old people. So I left the coalition. But you know what the outcome of the coalition was? They did it. Fela Grotoye and Moghalu ran the process till the end. When Fela won, Moghalu said he would not join the coalition. Moghalu broke away from the coalition. They had already decided, even before we went to the coalition, who would be the outcome of the coalition. If they wanted to be honest, they would have chosen AAC as the coalition because we had the strongest message, we had the widest reach. Even in the allocation of votes that they did after the election, they still gave AAC a higher number of votes than Fela Grotoye and Kingsley Moghalu. And Moghalu had been in the race a year before I entered. Grotoye had been in the race a year before I entered. Several of them had been in the race. The only person that entered the race after me was Obi and Obi crashed out of. The reason why she crashed out was that her party had already endorsed Buhari when she was traveling. By the time she came back, just to save face, she immediately removed herself from. So we are the ones who went to see Nigeria the way it is, in blue, in black and white. Some of the young participants you saw, they were sponsored to distract the attention of young people in the election by the same old political parties. I wish, honestly, I have time to write a book or make a movie if you watch it, you will not be discussing coalition. But there's a coalition that is out there. The coalition of the oppressed is a huge number of people. The coalition of the willing of Nigerians who want to save themselves from this situation is a huge number. And if all of them bond together, it's the biggest coalition you can have. The coalition of Nigerians in diaspora who know how countries are run, 20 million of them, who are the ones who majorly funded our campaign. You know one of the reasons they were afraid of our campaign? The fact that we didn't go to anybody to get money in Nigeria. So nobody had any control over us. It was a popular funding strategy called crowdfunding. Everybody puts in a little bit. And that one didn't make them feel happy. And these guys have devised a means of raising money without going to meet some very powerful people. That is something that we achieved in this election that we never go with. I am not in any way, writing off the opportunity to have a coalition. If there's anybody who feels the same way we feel, they are welcome to join us. If I find anybody who feels the same way I feel, I will go and join the person. In fact, if there's a better candidate tomorrow, I will support the candidates and subsume my own agenda behind that. The reason why you see me join the race was because I can see superfluous and frivolous campaigning. All the young people. For example, I confronted the young people when we met at a meeting. Said, you are talking about how to change Nigeria. You don't want to discuss the old bypass and what you will do to them. They said, African culture. You can't disrespect old people. I said, old people that are disrespecting you. You have to tell them, put them in their position.
Yes.
You have to discuss what will happen in the future. You cannot be talking about the future that is esoteric. Only a few people who are brilliant knows how the future is. Just like they will say, only those people who have the third eye can see the future. The future should be broken down to everybody who wants to see the future. Let them see the window into that future. And the question about if I thought I would win the election, if the election was free and fair, there is no way the Buhari would have defeated me. We could have started at the debate. Yes. As I'm standing in front of you, if I go to a debate with Atiku and Buhari, would they defeat me at the debate?
No.
That's what are we talking about?
No.
And that's why they didn't want a debate.
Yes,
if Nigerians have a chance and we go through these things fair, in a square band, where we debate ideas, we are able to have the same access that they have to the media, both national, public, and private, that were denied. Would they defeat me? No. That was what Kadalia Ahmed asked me. He said, do you think you win the election? I said, if the election is free and fair, there's no way I can be defeated. And I'm not bragging. It's the truth. But you know what Kadalia was doing in the town hall meeting with me?
Yes.
Very antagonistic.
Yes.
Then, after election, she became an activist herself,
fighting
for Zamfara.
Yes.
I went to Zamfara, and when I came back, I said, wow, this place is going away. That was before the election. The places we traveled to in Zamfara, that time nobody can go there today and become killing fields. Forget about this whole narrative that Fulani is coming to. Yes, there are Fulani kidnappers, but the truth is that the Yoruba kidnappers too have not retired. Yes. The Southeastern kidnappers are not, the Benin kidnappers are not retired. So the buzzword about Fulani kidnapper, it sounds good because we're all tired, but the truth is that every kidnapper, regardless of where they're coming, they are still kidnapping. So why are we deceiving ourselves? So, and I said to them, the north is gone. The insecurity in Nigeria is affecting northern Nigeria more than any part of Nigeria at this point. Everything you are hearing is underreported. They are killing people like flies. In Zamfara, in Kaduna, Southern Kaduna, they are killing people everywhere. Nigeria is secure, simple. So this is the problem. We would have won hands down if Nigerians were given the opportunity to hear us out. After the election, people are now listening to podcasts. They are breaking everything I said into small. People are listening. People will come and say, are you the guy who said this thing? And I said, yes. Wow, how come I didn't vote for you? I said, you didn't want to vote for me. People were choosing between Atiku and Buhari. What is the difference? There's no difference. People were calling themselves articulated. Most of them, young people, youth, they were all on, Instagram and Facebook, calling themselves articulated. Buhari deans and articulated. What is the difference? So, and they will tell you that they didn't hear about us, my brother. They know about us. They chose the path of destruction instead of path of progress. The moment you make that choice, you can never see progress. You can only see between the two dark alleys. And it was a choice. Otherwise, who on earth should be easy to find out about the good candidate and students? Everything I became today, I started as a student. The idea of fighting for what is right instead of what is wrong, I began as a student. When people were following Abacha, collecting money from Abacha, some of you have heard how I was offered a 505 when I was a student union leader. Why didn't I collect it and say that, don't mind Abiola? We didn't even vote for Abiola in the election. It was after the election that we started fighting for Abiola. So when students tell you that they don't know of a candidate, a student that is going to school, all he needed to do was have gone to Google and search the candidate. They know. I'm telling you, because later on, towards the election, they were following us on Instagram, the students, when they realized, but then it was too late. The other thing I will tell you about this whole popularity thing is that let's even assume that we couldn't have won. But now there's a chance for them to see the difference. Right? And that's why we are here. Because that election is over.
Yes.
Some people have asked me, why did I go to court? I said, the money that I used to go to court, I would rather start using it now to build movements. Because when I become president, a lot of things will have to be immersed. They know what they have done. What do you think they first did before they removed the Chief Justice of Nigeria? Just like that. Not in any way saying that I support the Chief Justice, I've said it truly. I was the first person to expose the guy. But that time when they were still using him, they said, no, he's still anything. When they needed to sacrifice him, they brought out the same dossier that Sahara reporters had used to reveal his corruption in the past. So, and Philip, you mentioned Biafra.
Yes.
Do you know why people are agitating for Biafra? It's because they are looking for justice. That justice that eluded them before the war, during the war, and after the war is the reason Biafra is a strong thing today in Nigeria. If they are guarantees the justice that they are looking for, Nigeria is not big enough for them. Yes, the continent of Africa is not big enough for an Igbo person. I say something and I don't say it to patronize Igbos. They have conquered the world in terms of sports, business, in terms of professionalism, some of the best doctors, everywhere. There's nowhere you go to in America, if it's a small village of 10 people, the pharmacist there will be able to. If it's sports, the same thing applies to Yorubas, the same thing applies to Benin. But the problem is that in their own particular situation, the Biafrans were unjustly suppressed, killed, destroyed, and emasculated within the Nigerian nation. But the biggest error, my brother, is that our Biafran leaders are the same people who are very quick to vote for the people who carried out the war. Didn't Buhari participate in the war? Why should he be allowed to even campaign for that? Didn't Obasanjo participate in the war? At the point they were even claiming that he's evil. Yes. I'm telling you. And I'm talking about leadership in Igbo land, but also everywhere in Nigeria. Every time there's an opportunity for Nigeria to have a new president that could come from the southeast, You know the first set of people that they go and bring out to say they don't want, they go and bring some Southeasterners. I'm not saying it's a general characteristic of the Igbo. When Babangida didn't want to leave, it was Sowore who said he must stay forever. When Abacha didn't want to leave, they went and brought some people from the south. Not only southeast though, but the stronger boys. Even when Obasanjo didn't say he wants to do third time, who was the guy who was really want to do Begu?
Yes.
Who used to be in the Nigerian breweries or something like that. They said Obasanjo is the best thing to happen. I said, why can't we find somebody from the southeast who can do a better job? Why is it that we are the ones who are ahead of everybody saying that this Yoruba person must not leave power? When is power going to reach the southeast if each time there's an opening, you say the person who is there must continue? So we must review the position of these leaders. I am one of the first persons to interview Nnamdi Kanu on Sahara TV. And one of the things I told him at that time, I said, start speaking on behalf of all the oppressed people in Nigeria. This idea of alienating people by saying Yoruba is stupid, Hausa, Negoro, is not going to help you because you must know if Yoruba people also need you to lead them to freedom. Hausa people too, they are oppressed. If they can find an Nnamdi Kanu that can lead them out of this nonsense, they will follow Nnamdi Kanu. If Yorubas can find an Nnamdi Kanu that is willing to lead them, yes, everybody is looking for freedom. They are not going to ask for the ethnicity of the guy who can lead them to freedom. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, they didn't ask whether he's Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa. All they needed to do is to say, don't go and make bread, or you know that bread that they used to make that delays them. And then when they left, they never looked at Egypt again. If they had been asking, you, Jew that is fat, you can't follow us. The one that is short, you can't follow us. You know, that was my position at that time. But good news now is that even when you hear his message these days, you know that he has taken into consideration the fact that justice is a global phenomenon. I've been asked to meet him, by the way. I'll meet him any day when he's ready. But the conversation must be around how we can save our general humanity. And it ties into the question about why we African Action Congress as opposed to Nigerian Action Congress. Is that the fate of Africa is also tied to the fate of Nigeria. Nigeria being the most populous country on the continent of Africa. I studied geography, and when I walked into class one day, my teacher showed me the map of Africa. He said, do you know how it looks like? He says it's like a pistol. Do you know where the trigger is? Nigeria. But the problem with the African continent as a pistol is that the pistol is facing down. If you shoot it, they are going to shoot you. That's the problem. So Nigeria is so central to the freedom of Africa that there's no way Nigeria can be a prosperous country and the rest of Africa is not prosperous and Nigeria can be at peace. Most of the Fulani herdsmen that you're hearing about, they are coming from Niger, Chad, because they are facing poverty in their own regions too. Whenever there's fuel scarcity in Nigeria, it's because our fuel is going across the border to take care of their own vehicle. If I'm an African president, do you know what I would do? All those countries, I'll put petrol stations there. Yes, from the NNPC. So you can buy the same price. You don't have to come and steal. And we'll be making money from it. Anybody who is the president of Nigeria is the president of Africa today. That's the reality. So don't change yourself. That is why you see, somebody said they're all in Nigeria. There's a Ghanaian here, by the way. Yes, I brought that from Ghana. I tell you the reason why he's here, because who can love Nigeria more than Ghanaians?
Exactly.
Yes. And the fact that they still follow us today is an example of humility and love, because we humiliated Ghanaians. And who did it? Is this same Buhari? Yes. Ghana must go. But the saddest thing today, Ghanaians are planning Nigeria must go too. Yes. Because we are so, they can't stand us to know that 34 minutes away, we have resources and we can take care of ourselves. If any one of you would get to Ghana today, you will cost out Nigerian leaders. They had an airport that just opened. You think that we are in Europe. Absolutely nice. They are starting to get the economy back on its feet. A lot of work still needs to be done. But Ghana today is a better place than Nigeria. They had blackouts for 2 years. It was a big deal in Ghana. To the extent that the president ordered which the blackout happened, even though he fixed the problem, Mahama, they still did not vote for him. We have had blackouts since. It is the people who are importing generators into Nigeria that we vote for in every election. Yes. That is the paradox of Nigeria. So lots of work, and I will yes. You talked about your parents and how you made them. If they voted, you would not have counted. That's the truth. It's interesting that Edo was the biggest base we had in the election. Everybody used to ask whether Sowore is from Edo State, because if you go to Edo State, every variant of my name is they call me Sowore, some of them Sowore, They loved me and I loved them, and what support they had from Spain, Italy, everywhere in Germany. There was a lot of our PAC and TID people, I know people. But you know what they did? First, a lot of people went home for the election. They postponed the election from the 16th. A lot of our people that went out to come back. So some people who had already decided they want to be polling agents, they had already gathered their village parents, they had to leave because you don't have an extra week to spend. Nobody was sure that they would even hold the election the next weekend. So you saw how we tactically, and that day the first election was supposed to be my birthday, February 16th. So they tactically changed it so that they won't give me a birthday gift. Very, very funny. So what I'll say finally is that now we have a chance. Everything that we reviewed in terms of comment questions today were things that happened in the past. And we have history behind us to review what went wrong. Please, and I want to say this, it's very important. If you still see this as a Sowore going to become president, let him go and campaign. We are deceiving ourselves. We have to personalize this, all of us that are here. Take it as your project too, if you believe in this. Because imagine that we're able to run this country, we win the presidency. Look at the pride that will be in your life, that you can go back home. You can take your children home, right? You can take them to Nigeria on vacation, as opposed to using Nigeria to scare them at home. Think about the value you can add even to Nigeria as a diaspora. Just like they're talking about Greece. The Greeks in New York, in Europe, whenever it is time for them to rescue their country, they come together. But the reason they can rescue their country is that they have a country they can rescue. Yeah. Today, you don't have a country that you can even rescue. This is on a lighter note. I was watching a guy yesterday in Benin. He has been sending home money to build house. Yes. only to arrive there, there's no house. That is Nigeria for you. You have been sending money home, sending your emotions home to build Nigeria. When you arrive to Nigeria, there's no Nigeria. That's Nigeria for you. Right from the airport. Yes. Because we have the worst airport, with due respect, in the world. And I have traveled the world a little bit. I've been to a lot of third world countries. Recently I went to Mexico. I was thinking that if I go to Mexico, I'll be holding my wallet. I thought Mexico is like Lagos, based on what we read on the way. Mexico is like the US. Yes. It's better than some even US cities. Yeah. When I was coming to Greece, I thought it would be Oshodi in New York. I got to Greece here. I everything, all the roads and everywhere is clean. You know, I got to Italy. The only place that I went to that looks like Nigeria is Napoli. Yes, they don't play there. It's like Lagos and Napoli live up for each other. That's the only place. And I'm not trying to offend our Napoleon friends. I told them that before. You know, I was very comfortable in Napoli. I go show you, but just walking around.
You are feeling at home.
But everywhere else, amazing. So, guys, I hope I was able to answer all your questions. It's 8:30, and it felt like an hour ago. So again, thank you so much. And somebody requested, would you come back? Absolutely. I would love to make this an annual event. In fact, I'm thinking about coming here for a vacation. They said there's a town called Thessaloniki. Yes. I want to come back and but before we go, please, I want you guys to give a round of applause for Vince. Please come and let them see you. And also Toye, where's Toye here? Yes. President of our community here. In the 80s and 90s, when they started Nikon Local Eating Hotel, the tagline was, "Come, let's spoil you a little." These guys have almost destroyed me. On the yam, fish. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone, for the time you spent with us. And, leaving every business you have to leave behind to come here and listen to our Bishop President. I have to say, AAC,
Take it back.
AAC,
Take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Action.
With this, we've come to the end of the meeting today, and I would appreciate Mr. Donald to give us a bit of thanks so that we can go on our business.
I want to thank each and every one of you. Where's Mrs. Sowore? She's still here. Where's Madam Sowore? I want you to thank her because although I got the message on this coming very late, and yet I was able to call her and she said, okay, I will make sure I make a condition so that I will see it. Why? Because as you can see, this is a sample of Nigerians. It is not all we are. Please, a round of applause for hosting us so at so short notice. We are not up to 5,000, and in fact, those ones remaining now. While in 2013, when things were very rough in this country, a lot of people moved due to the far right party. And it's struggling for us to make sure we restore everybody's residency back so that they can be safe and be comfortable to walk. I had Buhari in the conference striking a team with the German government, send people home. So with few people and some community leaders, I quickly phoned them and said, please, I want us to be holding meetings so that we relate this to you and you relate to our people. The problem we face now is that Buhari, if you are watching the media, he said, send people home, we don't have war. And not knowing that when you go to Nigeria, what you see every day, in fact, is worse than war. the actual one itself is gone. Yes. And I told the government here, I told them, we are not in my executives, we insist. Please, we must also leave our people here because as far as the matter is cried, we came to seek refuge. And they now decided that they are going to form a camp in one of the African countries, which I don't remember now, but I have a document.
Egypt.
Oh, no, not Egypt. It was in another one as well. I will remember. Anyway, one of the African countries, so that all those African countries, citizens that are tripping in here, through Spain, Italy, and Turkey, then we gather them, make their fingerprint, take their photo, and those that are from Africa, they will ship them there. Then they will be giving them money to take care of them in the camp there until they decide to go home by themselves. So we started, pushing for meetings, and meetings come and fix it. Many people don't know the reason why we have to push for documents. Because it's when you have documents you receive that. At a point, people they don't believe that when they run into genuine whatever. Because each person that is being sent home, there is an amount of money that is going to be given to the government in order to rehabilitate them. But that time when you get there, it's only that money you will not see. But those that went through IOM, I also told them, I said, when you are going home, come, if I'm aware of it. Once you get home, any man that asks you for the money that they give to you at the airport, take their number and then tell them to give you their full name. That this 500 euro that they have given me to come home, I will give it to you at no problem. Because they will be threatening them with killing and the rest of it. And get the person's name and give it to them. I will make sure the person uses it. And actually, the one he helped me to go and drop at the airport, that was the one. The moment he said that, the girl called back and said, Chairman, thank you very much. He said, because now, the man was there, your father. And he said, yes, you, your mama. And she went home, she was able to have some money to start life. But today, we still have quite enough people. And in having that, a battle you cannot fight from house to win it. You can go and fight it from outside. There is no challenge that is being created by a man that cannot be beaten by another man. So that's why I chose that you must address Nigerians, and Nigerians, although this is small sample, when you come again this time around, we are when we get a bigger place and we need a lot of publicity so that you come. In order for us to put that intelligent head down and bring something out of it, and what is it going to be? A formula to beat that challenge of that capacity. I will beg you on behalf of Nigerians and Greeks that you should not relent your strength, your struggle. Because it is when you break that yoke, that bondage, of that not going through that process of immunization. If he's not loyal, we drop him after councillor. If he's loyal, he will go for chairman. Then after that time, we will immunize him again. If he's not loyal, we will drop him. If he's loyal, he will go for house commissioner. So that's it. That system is broken. It's not working. That's why we are all afraid we cannot bring our children home. So I want it to be that the voice of the people abroad are your voice. And you must try to get there. The little we have, we will try to support. Anywhere you feel that you are going to meet somebody who cannot be who does not need stomach infrastructure to handle. Yes, because it's the stomach infrastructure that you are facing now, that his brother, who is even learning, will not see something in you. Okay? I want you to keep that. That's one thing. Somebody, not just young, but who is concerned about Nigeria, can be in that asshole and get up every day or have a system of information reaching him, and wherever there's a problem, he can go there, and only his appearance alone will put things in order. Because I remember when Buhari won the first time, people started queuing up again and saying, "What this is this thing?" Why? Because they knew it was right. So I'm not going to take much of the time because we have to take it. Please, just give more the struggle you do. And Nigeria, try to support your people back home and lecture them by yourself and say, if you want to see me coming from my family, vote this man in the next election. Thank you.
Amen. In Jesus' name. Amen.